me share with you some of the reasons this good president deserves to be re-elected. He ended the war in Iraq. He's ending the war in Afghanistan. Osama bin Laden is dead, and GM is alive. He passed the Recovery Act. He passed Obamacare. He will protect Medicare from being voucherized. He will protect Social Security from being privatized. Mitt Romney he's a pioneer of outsourcing. You know, I'll tell you what I said at the Democratic Convention. If Mitt was Santa Claus, he would fire the reindeer and outsource the elves. And he would oppose equal pay for Mrs. Claus. Our president is an economic patriot. Mitt Romney is an outsourcing pioneer. The president saved the American auto industry. And as a result, listen, Ohio, as a result, $500 million is being invested in Toledo, and thousands of jobs are being created there. Over in Youngstown, Ohio, GM is investing more than $200 million to build the second generation of the Chevy Cruze, and jobs are being created. Mitt Romney had a different idea, did he not? He said, let Detroit go bankrupt. And we know that today, Ohio's economy is coming back. Our unemployment has come down. Optimism is increasing in Ohio because the president stood with us and for us. And now we will stand with him. Only a few more hours. Now this is my prediction, that between now and when the polls close tomorrow evening, you and your friends and your family members, you're going to do everything you can to get every vote possible for the president. You're going to get up early tomorrow morning, probably before daylight. You're going to drink your coffee, and then you're going to spend all day long getting out the vote in Ohio. And at the end of the day, the polls will have closed, and you're going to be tired. Your back's going to be aching. Your feet are going to be sore. And you're going to go home and find an easy chair and watch the polls as the results come in. And you're going to turn from station to station, and it's going to be close as the early vote comes in. But about 11:37 p.m., you're going to be so excited as you switch from NBC and ABC and CBS and CNN and MSNBC, and then about 11:37 you're going to switch to Fox News. And you are going to hear the announcement that Ohio has once again voted
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Sherrod Brown.
So many thousands of people here who have one goal in the next 2 days, that is to elect or re-elect Barack Obama and keep the Senate and win the House of Representatives. You know, there's two great things about being from Ohio. One, you get to live here, and second, we all get to choose who the next president of the United States is. There's really a third thing. Columbus and Cleveland and Cincinnati get like the best rallies anywhere in the country because we have Jay-Z and Bruce Springsteen. But there's something else pretty amazing about Ohio, about what you all do. You are, without a doubt, and the reason that we see these polls all over the country going up and down in Virginia and Florida and Colorado, but in Ohio the president's got a small but consistent lead is because we have the best, most committed, smartest activists in the United States of America. Look what all of you did on issue 2 last year. After the 2010 elections, you know what happened. The election was about jobs, but you remember what the right-wingers in the legislature did. They went after collective bargaining rights, they went after voting rights, and they went after women's rights. And you know what we did. We didn't just sit there with SB 5. We didn't just sit there when they attacked women's rights. We didn't just sit there when they attacked voting rights. We went right back at them. We won on collective bargaining. The only time in American history when there's been a collective bargaining on the ballot, we won by 22 points because of your activism and your passion and your commitment. And to know that we've won on voting rights, all you had to do was to visit any board of elections in the state yesterday and see the number of people that wanted to vote on Sunday before the election because you stood up for them, the Obama administration stood up for voters, and all of us stood up for voting rights. And we also know about our fight for women's rights, our fight for Planned Parenthood, our fight for women's right to choose, our fight for women's rights, our fight for equity in the workplace with Hillary Clinton. That fight will continue with President Obama, with me back in the Senate, and with Congress. Now, you all, thousands of you in this arena, you all know why this matters so much. You know whether it's the Supreme Court, whether it's continuing our economic recovery, whether it's issues of civil rights and equal rights, whether it's all kinds of issues of justice. You know why this matters. But let me tell you a real quick story. Fall of 2008, October, November, December 2008, I can't remember the month for sure, I met with a worker in Toledo. He was afraid his plant was going to close. His plant sold into the auto supply chain. He said to me, my plant closes, how am I going to support my family? How am I going to pay my mortgage? How's my daughter going to be able to continue in community college at Owens in Toledo? And we knew we had to go to work. President Obama in January knew he had to go to work to rescue the auto industry. 800,000 jobs in Ohio are connected to auto. We went to work. Since the auto rescue, Ohio's unemployment rate has gone from 10.6% to 7% because we got the economy going. The story of our manufacturing comeback in Ohio, we lost 5 million manufacturing jobs in the state from 2000 to 2010. Since then, we've gained 500,000 manufacturing jobs back. Not enough, but going in the right direction. But the story of Ohio's economic resurgence in manufacturing and healthcare and jobs generally, the story of that resurgence, Ohio's resurgence, is the new Chevy Cruze. The Chevy Cruze, the engine comes from Defiance, Ohio. The transmission comes from Toledo, Ohio. Some of the steel comes from Middletown, Ohio. The sound system comes from Springboro, Ohio. The airbags come from Brunswick, Ohio. The seat frames come from Moraine, Ohio. The aluminum comes from Cleveland, Ohio. The seats come from Warren, Ohio. And 4,000 workers put the Chevy Cruze together on 3 shifts in Youngstown, Ohio. So we need you like we've never needed you before. A lot of you, how many of you have voted early already? Thank you for that, but your job's not done. You know that. Now you all, just think for a second. Think of family members you have. Think of somebody at your church, somebody in your neighborhood, somebody at your workplace or at school. You all know 1 or 2 or 3 people who might not vote unless you call them. You all have a niece, you all have an uncle, you all have a friend at church, you all have a friend at work, you all have somebody in your classroom who may not vote unless you call them, may not be certain yet how they're going to vote. It's up to you to do that. You know more because you came to this rally. You know more about politics and government than most of your friends, than your neighbors, your friends, your people at church, your friends at school, your friends at the workplace. You know more about this than you do. Don't sell yourself short. They will listen to you. So make sure in the next 24 hours you help us with our Get Out the Vote effort. For sure tomorrow you help us with our Get Out the Vote effort. You canvass tonight, do a few more doors and a few more phone calls tonight. And when you go home tonight at 9 o'clock or whenever you're done, call somebody on the phone that you know your voice will matter to them. Because I understand your voice does matter to them. I understand I may not have the prettiest voice in the United States Senate, but you can count on me being the strongest voice for Ohio for the next